You're listening to the Surgeons of Horror podcast. Hello, welcome to the Surgeons of Horror podcast. Its purpose is to dissect and discuss horror movies, both old and new, and today we've got something slightly a little bit different on our hands where we're going to attempt to do an alternate commentary to the It miniseries. As usual, the podcast will be hosted by yours truly, Paul Farrell, and this week I am joined by the other Surgeon alumni with Anthony, Richard, and Greer. This is the first time we're trying to do something for this. So essentially what we're doing here is providing our own audio commentary track to the It miniseries.
Yeah, this is weird for us. But yeah, it's going to be clunky, but please... Yeah, it'll be fine. So, we've ordered pizzas.
So the idea is that when I press play, if people are listening, they can kind of press play and listen to us talk shit for 3 hours.
As opposed to every other podcast we've ever done.
So before we kick off, though, we always ask the question of have we seen this film before? And if so, what were your earliest memories of it? So I'll go to Greer first.
I have seen this before a number of times.
Yeah.
My very, very earliest memory of it was about 13, 14, watching it with a pack of girlfriends on a warm summer's day with my 4/5, can't quite remember how old she was, sister, kind of creepily watching from behind a couch. My friends then decided to get out a Ouija board and to summon spirits, because as you do when you're 13 years of age and you think that you're invincible. My sister proceeded to not shower or go to the toilet by herself for the next 3 months. And to this day, and I would like to say she is about to turn 31, she has unbelievably insane fear of clowns.
Clown phobia.
Yeah,
Yes.
clown phobia.
What is clown phobia?
There is a word for it. Let's just call it clown phobia.
Claustrophobia. No, it's
I'll Google.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that I don't I was young also when this came out, but I don't recall.
Are you calling
a
me
thing.
old, Paul?
No, I'm calling myself old. But I don't recall there being a thing called clown phobia or whatever it's called before it came out. Was it a known thing? Do you know?
Oh, I had it when I was a baby, so yes, I'm guessing there is a thing.
And you're really old, Andy.
Yeah.
It's called chlorophobia,
There you go. Colophobia.
a specific fear of clowns.
So, I am a similar age to Greer, so I was, I remember watching it at a fairly young age too, but I had read the book prior to seeing the film, and I remember loving the book. That was like my first entry into reading Stephen King, and I thought it was amazing. So when I came to watch the film, and it's done in 2 parts, I was disappointed because of, and we'll get to that, the second half is not as strong as the first half, shall we say. But I still enjoyed it. I really liked Tim Curry and his performance in it. And I remember being really kind of interested in the kids, because the kids were the same age as me when it came out. And so I identified with their journey and the way that went. But what about you, Ant? Because I think you did say you watched it around that same time.
Yeah, on VHS.
Yeah.
The clown picture.
Wait. Can you please explain what VHS is for the young people?
I watched it on the video TV. I watched it. Yeah. The clown picture on the cover got me for years because I actually do have a clown phobia, and I'm fine with it now. But I was thinking this is a great idea for a horror film. Didn't watch it for years. Finally did see it on VHS. All I remember from it is John Ritter.
Yeah.
From Three's Company.
Yeah.
Annette
O'Toole.
Yeah. Who was Lana Lang in Superman.
Yeah.
And somebody else. I didn't know Tim Curry was a clown, though.
Curry.
Tim Curry was a clown, I didn't know that.
Probably John Boy.
Yeah, John Boy. Yes, yeah, John Boy from
Richard Thomas.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
That's what I do remember from it. And
Okay.
it's, I can't remember the show at all.
No worries.
So it'll all come back.
That'll also be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So let's start it off. So I've got to kind of my audio might drop out for a second. But I'm going to go over here.
So here we are about to do a live commentary on it.
Can I just go back to my sister's phobia of clowns? I did recall the other day And I haven't told her yet that I do remember a time we went to the circus, and I'm pretty sure we were sitting in the front row and a clown came and took her from us. I think that actually may have been the start of her clown phobia.
He snatched her.
Not Pennywise, but you just never know, do you?
Okay, so the opening credits to come up starring Harry Anderson, Dennis Christopher, which is John Boy, right?
No, Dennis Christopher is someone else.
Oh, the kid on the top left is a kid who died from Sequest.
Brandis, yeah.
Sequest, yeah.
He died.
Yeah, I know.
When did Jonathan Brandis die?
Yeah.
He killed himself.
Oh, hey, that's Mike Hanlon. Tim Reed, not Mike Reed.
John Ritter. Yeah, he died. Yeah, it's one of those what the fuck sort of deals.
Yeah. So so on that, so he was Rich. Yeah, as you said, what's his name again? Jonathan Brandis. There you go.
Yeah.
Right there in the credits. So he kind of hit fame with this plus Neverending Story Part 2.
Oh, that's right.
Which really kind of propelled him to the.
Seth Green is in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, beep, Richie.
Yeah, and the Sequest was the big one for him because he was a teenage heartthrob at that point.
He was. And then after that, his career just kind of didn't really kind of go anywhere. I think he was in Heart's War from memory, but he was disappointed because a lot of his part got kind of cut down. And then
we start with Downtown Derry.
we do start with Downtown.
Yeah.
There's a lightning bolt there.
Yes.
Didn't look fake at all.
That was it. He was in Ride with the Devil as well, the Ang Lee film. But yeah, apparently, like it's allegedly that the reason he did it was because of his career and he was getting into drugs and stuff. So, but officially, no one has kind of commented on.
Yeah, it's one of those really quiet deaths, really.
I didn't even know he died, so
how
I
quiet
know
it
when
was.
everyone dies. Like, I'm into that stuff.
So, so this is Lawrence Cohen. I should have written up what he did as well. But so Lawrence Cohen wrote this, but he also wrote the screenplay for Carrie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so he was a Stephen King adapter.
Yeah. It's directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, and might talk about him a bit later because I don't want to throw out everything in one go. But he was closely associated with John Carpenter's early work.
Oh, so this is interesting. You get a scare straight off the bat. Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah.
So no ramping up to it. That's interesting. Oh, so it's Frankenfurter.
Yes, man. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew.
Okay.
Cameraman hits you in the face. Ow!
What the fuck?
So straight off the bat, the kid gets zapped.
Yeah.
As a storytelling convention, what do you think about that? Does it work?
Well, like the thing is that I found when I was rewatching this recently that you really feel that you are in TV territory. Like for me, like I'm such an avid horror fan now. It doesn't get anywhere near bloodthirsty enough for me.
But can we also qualify that with this is actually, 27 years old?
It is 27, 30 years old.
Yeah, nearly 30 years old.
Or was it 28?
So
Sorry.
it's kind of hardly surprising now because filmmaking has progressed in such
Oh,
a
yeah.
way that we are looking for something that's shocking and over the top.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
But
what?
yes, killing a child straight up is definitely shocking and a little bit over the top.
Yeah. Like no ramp up at all. So what does Pennywise do? Then he tears them to pieces.
Yeah. Essentially, like he feeds on them.
Somebody's talking.
So we were introduced to. This is Mike Hanlon's character that we're introduced to now. He's one of the Losers Club.
Yeah.
And he's the only character that stays in Derry. Everyone else has left.
Right.
And he essentially is the narrator of the book when you read the book,
And so this is all resonating with him right now.
most of the time.
So this death is like setting off alarm bells with him, right?
It is because it's like something like the 7th killing that's happened. And this is important, this bit here, because this is where he sees a
This
photo.
isn't important. This is like critical.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
Is he going to do some gardening? What's so important?
No, it's Georgie.
Georgie.
Oh, is that the kid that you flagged too? Is that the kid that goes missing?
Yeah, yes.
Ah.
This is Bill's younger brother.
This is when flashbacks start.
Oh, funky blue lights in the house.
It's a library.
This is so 80s and 90s. All Night Has to Be Blue.
1990. This came out.
I feel like Paul and I are going to be really smug and like know-it-alls through this whole thing because we've seen this so many times.
Yes.
Whereas Ant is just like an it virgin.
Yeah.
Well, not it virgin, but I've been so long I'm a virgin again. Basically.
What's that like being a virgin again?
Well, I've had it happen to me quite a few times.
Hampstead Heath. That's I know where Hampstead Heath is.
Hey, it's John Boy.
So do I.
Look at the computer.
I would like to think Ant does as well.
Can we just
computer.
Can we just note?
Glasses.
This is John Boy. He plays Bill Denborough, the older version of Bill Denborough. Can we just also note his ponytail?
Oh, so you got it. Oh.
Yeah, you'll see it in a minute.
It's so hip, man.
Like in the book, he's a balding character,
He is a balding character.
and all of a sudden in this, he's got hair, lots of hair. And how about Olivia Hussey playing such a minor role in this too? Like
She's huge, yeah.
she played people. Well, old people like me and Anne will know her as playing Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet. The guy who played Romeo in Romeo and Juliet wrote a sequel, Romeo and Juliet 2, which he tried to flog in Hollywood to get made for years on end.
How did he go?
Well.
They all die in the end.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think that was the reason why a lot of people didn't take his phone call.
Was that Romeo and Juliet Resurrected?
It's probably a prequel called Romeo and Juliet Prometheus. Did you look on the table? That looks like there's scripts on the table.
There is scripts. He's a writer.
Oh, well, that makes sense
She's an
then.
actress.
All right. Well, there you go.
So he's a lot of the other narration in the book is told from his point of view too. And interestingly, like as you were saying, he's this is where we get to see the young kids for the first time making their blood pact. So like what was I going to say with that? Yeah, so interestingly, like he's a horror writer, so you get the feeling that Stephen King's identifies with this character.
King's done that before, though. He's done a few stories where the lead character's a writer.
Yeah, The Shining.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect example.
And Misery as well.
Misery, of course.
Yeah. You write what you know.
Yeah.
And he knows about scary shit. Taxman. Sorry, we were talking over that. So the person that called in was Mike, the guy we saw at the beginning.
And it's Bill's brother that was the first child that died.
Which we've seen in the trailer for the new movie.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is our flashback.
This is our flashback. This is our second flashback, but
It is. What is it with that song? Everyone seemed to play that when I was at school.
Yeah.
And they did it to kind of show off, but it just pissed you off. Yeah, there are some good kind of stuff. The way it's shot is really good.
How'd they get inside the room? Did it crash? Oh, it's a kid from DC Quest DSV.
Yeah, Jonathan Brandis. I kind of feel really sad about him.
I do. I'm really feeling melancholy about seeing this kid now.
Yeah. He was really good. He's really good in this. And that's something that a lot of people noted. Like, the critics kind of said all the kids were really good in this.
yeah.
The performances.
You probably shouldn't sail a kid. I've seen the trailer.
What?
Yeah, so he's got a boat. You made him a paper boat. His little brother.
Yes, that's right.
And, it's not
And Bill Denborough's got a stutter, which he starts picking up when he's an adult.
So it's interesting, like the lighting for this sort of stuff compared to the lighting these days.
Yeah.
On horror films, it's so much flatter now compared to the current films. And although this is pretty noir, it's not bad, but it's nowhere near the sort of stylized lighting that you get from modern day horror films.
I still can't help but feel this was made more for television than it was as a film.
It does feel like a telly movie.
Yeah. Feels like a, Hallmark movie of the week, except a horror movie of the week.
Horror hoot movie of the week. It's not going to end well for George.
Don't go, Georgie.
Well, he clearly paid attention to that, didn't he? In the new trailer, Georgie runs. He puts his boat down the water, down the sidewalk, in the gutter, and he runs and he bumps his head in a thing. Can I just say,
The best thing about the new trailer, it's just you think you're going to see something scary, and then you see some kid whack his head.
There it is. Oh, he got round it. He's all right. He's a bit wiser.
Gary and Paul Farrell love it when a child gets hurt on film, is what I'm saying. I didn't
He was a
laugh.
stuck child.
Stuck child.
Oh, he's making a noise. I thought he was doing a duck noise for a second. No. The yeah. So this is where we get to. I mean, I know we saw a glimpse of Pennywise, but this is where we get to see him, and even in the book, this is such an iconic moment. I was really quite.
Yes, that's a yellow balloon, not a red one.
Yeah, I was quite fascinated with his nose, as in Pennywise's nose in this.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite
Not a
bulbous.
clown nose, it seems to be an extension of his nose.
Yeah, I kind of was drawn to that. As you are.
Pennywise, the dancing clown.
So Pennywise is talking to a kid.
So there's an interesting thing there because they mention his name. He mentions his name, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or Pennywise.
Pennywise does.
Yeah.
Not. He doesn't say it's Pennywise. He's Bob Gray
His name
In
is
the
not.
book.
in the book. Yeah.
So how many years after Rocky Horror has he done this?
This was about 89.
12
90, I
years.
think. So yeah.
Like Rocky Horror was 76, 78, something like that.
Wow.
That's a great bit.
Oh, shit. So that the teeth thing scare you?
Yeah, that did really scared me. So like because that's such a great moment, and in the I'm really hoping that the new film explores that scene in the way the book does, because in the book his whole arm gets ripped off.
Poor Farrell wants to see a
Well,
kid's arm ripped off.
Find his body with the arm missing, basically.
Yeah.
That's what happens in the book.
I want to see that. Do you think they'll go there?
Having just reread it again.
Yeah. So how did you feel about rereading it again, Greg? Because I did the same thing too, and I found I struggled a bit in places. I found it quite a trudge going through it. I still really, really enjoyed it, but
Yeah, I was a bit the same. I started it a couple of months ago on a weekend away, and I don't get a lot of time at home to read anymore. Television's just way too good. But then when I was on holidays recently, I watched it, again, and I read it again, or finished reading it, and it was hard in some places, and I had to kind of break it up a little bit, and read something else in between just to kind of soften the blow. But once I got to about the 1,000th page, then I just wanted to it was good, and I really wanted to just push through it. But I think there was about a slog in there, maybe 500 to 1,000 pages were just a bit of a struggle.
what I found about it though is, and this is a testament to Stephen King's writing, is like the first two. It's told in 5 parts, and the first 2 parts are quite dense, but it kind of builds the characters, and that's why it's so rich. And then the last 3 parts, you kind of plow through it because it's a lot quicker, and it was really good. Such a good book. So this was we were just talking over the moment where the photograph album bleeds basically, yeah.
And the parents don't seem to be
And the
that.
parents can't say it.
Parents can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Only children can see it. Sorry, that was funny.
Oh my god! So that's how they do a Monday morph, or morph back then, is you had to go out of focus.
They do it the whole way through this, these opening sections. We're in the middle of making a movie.
She really peaked at Romeo and Juliet, didn't she?
Yeah.
Still really. What are you saying? She's still really.
In terms of the acting.
I mean, she's beautiful, but she does overact in this, I've got to say. For the little part she plays. She's very understated right at the end, though, but, hashtag no spoilers.
Until we get there. So probably this is a good moment to talk about Richard Thomas. So like he was mostly known obviously for playing John Boy, as we said in the series The Waltons. But it was a role that kind of really he so closely identified with. He became quite typecast in that, and he's never been able to really shake that off. When you watch this, do you see him as John Boy, or
I can't see anybody but John Boy.
yeah?
See, I never really got into the Waltons, so for me, like if I had to sort of talk about Richard Thomas, it's this that I would think about. But no, obviously I do know about him being John Boy, but yeah, to me it is his most.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think moving the Wardens aside, I think this is what he's most known for.
And a lot of Hallmark movie of the weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Or he crops up in like Law and Order and things like that.
Yeah, I have this feeling he has been in a show that's been very long running series. I don't know. I just can't for the life of me pinpoint what it is. Let me do the quick Google.
Yeah,
search.
you do the Google while we're doing this. So we're about to meet John Ritter. Yay!
Rest in peace.
I love John Ritter. We were saying that off record, weren't we, about John Ritter?
Yeah, I love John Ritter.
So like he was obviously at the time this came out, Problem Child came out too.
That was such a great.
Which kind of was so with this and Problem Child, it really kind of launched him.
Okay, he's in The Americans. Sorry, let's just go back to John Boy for a second. He's in The Americans. That's why he's so front of mind at the moment.
Yes. I'd forgotten that.
Anyway, back to John Ritter.
Yeah, John Ritter. So like at the time, like so this kind of was this time was like his kind of second projection into the industry. Yeah, Three's Company and Three's a Crowd is what made him. Yeah. And then there was this plus, as I said, Problem Child, and he came back to do Problem Child 2.
Which was terrible.
Which was awful, yeah. But he would also kind of get further success in the latter years of his career, which was in that 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
Which is what he was doing when he passed away.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it was actually just starting to pull a decent audience figure as well.
Had Peggy Bundy and what's her name from who's in the Big Bang Theory? Yeah, Penny from the Big Bang Theory now.
Yeah, cruelly robbed from this world, John. It was a great actor.
Also did a cop series in the 80s.
Did he?
Yeah, he played a cop.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to Google that too?
Do you want to know what it is? yeah. I don't know what that one is.
I'll be the official Googler for tonight.
There's the phone call.
So this is Ben.
Plays Ben Hanscom, yes. This is a great scene in the book. You know, so in the book though, so that was a glimpse of Henry Bowles, who's like the big school bully. His role in the book is a lot more prominent than it is in the film that we're watching. But that scene where they're attacking Ben Hanscom, he actually carves the letter H into his stomach, and we don't actually see that in this. We see in a second, but basically Ben kicks his way out and frees himself before that happens.
John Ritter's 80s cop show was Hooperman.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember watching that. I wouldn't have acknowledged or recognised that was from there, though. He was from there.
No, I don't think so.
So he's become, John Boy, Bill, has become a successful writer. Ben has become a successful architect. And this is important. Well, kind of important.
And also Ben's lost a lot of weight.
And he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I really like the Ben's character.
I love Ben's character. He was always my favourite.
Yeah, I think he was my favourite too.
I think probably also had a slight crush on John Ritter.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was kind of like a bit of, me too. Okay, he was he was a bit of every man, you know. He was
right.
He was good looking, but he wasn't too good looking. You could kind of just really relate to him.
Yes. There's Seth Green.
Buffy!
Have you any hobbies? Well, I like
No, Seth Green.
Robot chicken.
Robot Chicken.
library here, Ben. Welcome to Derry.
Yeah, do you want to talk about Seth now, or?
We can talk a bit about Seth. Only because we just don't know who this kid is, really. I'm sure he's been in heaps of stuff, but we don't know who he is. But so Seth Green has just come on screen, and he plays Beep Beep Richie.
Richie Tozier.
Seth Green, also known as Oz in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The creator, I think, of Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it's co-creator.
Co-creator of Robot Chicken. You name it, he's been in it.
Scott Evil in the Austin Powers movies.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. He goes, I can get my gun now, Dad. Let me just kill him. You just don't get it, Scott.
He was also in another horror film called Idle Hands, which was like early 2000s, I want to say, with I forgot the guy's name.
Class. As you know, the sheriff
The dude, he was in. He co-starred with the guy. The kid he starred with was the same kid that was in Final Destination, the main kid in that.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is so we're following Ben Hanscom's story at the moment, but this is Beverly Marsh that he's talking to at the moment. She's played by Emily Perkins, and I had a moment when I was watching this and I was looking at this, I was like, so recognise her face, and she's basically from Ginger Snaps, which is such an underrated horror film.
I have no idea.
Oh, you've so got to watch it. It's a werewolf film that came out again early 2000s, I want to say. And she's like, there's two lead girls in it, and they're sisters, and she's one of them. And it was done really well because it started using, because the werewolf kind of mythology is very much about the sexual awakening of men, and in this instance they flip that and do the sexual awakening of women. It was really good.
So now Ben's in a situation that's not very good right now. That's probably the understatement of the night. But Henry Bowers, Switchblade.
Switchblade. So yeah, this is the bit I said. So he actually does carve him in the book, but we don't see that here. There we go. And down he goes. And this was a bit more drawn out as well in the book. Like,
A bit more drawn out.
Yeah.
It was about 100 pages, wasn't it?
yeah, like him trying to get away. Anyway.
Yeah, look, a 1400 book being condensed into a 3 and a bit hour mini series. This is really hard to do. So, like, I've got to give them credit. They did a good job of capturing probably the most important stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, an important part was just to build that, to build the characters, as I said, and I feel like they do that with the first part, which we're watching right now. It's just a shame that they didn't kind of give enough of that love in the second half of this film. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I watched the first half again a couple of weeks ago with Pabs and the kids, and the kids kept saying, "Oh, it looks so old." I'm like, "It is old." We watched the first part, and I thought they'd be really keen to see the second part. They just didn't seem that interested. And I had planned on watching the second part before we came here tonight, and just didn't. So hopefully the second part will be a bit of a nice, like, sort of surprise for me again, given it's been a few years since I've watched it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not great. We were saying just before we were rolling the record too about what I was saying, how in the book it's told in 5 parts, and essentially the first part of the mini-series is the first part, and then they crowbar the remaining 4 parts into the second half. So there's a lot that gets dropped.
Some of it is probably a good thing that they dropped it, though. I'm just going to throw that out here now and early. Are you going to say that? No. I'll say it later. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm glad they dropped some of it.
Yeah, I do agree. There are bits that warranted not being used.
But where we're at now is nice because it's where the losers firstly start to join. Like, up until this point, they've been quite disparate. They've all been kind of loners, all by themselves, being bullied. And then purely by circumstance they, end up, like coming together.
It's like there's a greater being that's pulling them together.
A being known as Pennywise the Clown.
Or is it the turtle?
It could be the turtle.
Did
We don't see the turtle in this, though.
That's where it gets like really trippy in the book.
I probably should have been high or something when I read that part of the book.
There we go. There's the third of the outfit. That was a bit more drawn out too, where these panic attack and then Bill having to go to the chemist. Yeah. And then the bike features a lot more in the book too.
Oh, yeah, Silver.
Silver, yeah. It's kind of not really... I was surprised, because I thought it did feature a lot in this. But yeah, because, particularly, with, again, spoilers, but the ending, it kind of hangs on...
The bike.
The bike, yeah. Anyway. So how are you finding this at the moment, Anne? Are you kind of following the plot line?
I'm writing down everything you're saying.
He's not actually. He's doing other work.
You loser club member.
So I'm slightly relieved that there's only 3 of us here tonight, because at one point there was going to be, 7? And I thought we were going to have to play roles in the Losers Club. And as much as I love Beverly, not sure that I wanted to be Beverly.
Yeah. I was saying, like, I was thinking about this. I think that was me that said that, because I kind of was trying to look at if we were to identify ourselves with a character. As much as I already said, I love Ben's character, because the podcast is my thing and I run it. It kind of makes sense that I'm Bill, but I'm so not Bill, and I find I'm more like Eddie. I'm just kind of this weak, weak kind of fool of a character. I don't remember this in the book either, like him staying with other people.
Yeah, no, he did. We're talking about Ben, yeah. So Ben's mum, I think she lost her job, and they had to go and live with his auntie and cousin or something. There was a part in the book that this happened. Yeah. It wasn't a massive plot point or anything, so...
No. But I think it kind of highlights... I mean, like, he's a big kid in this, isn't he? And that's what the book focuses on more, and he gets bullied because of that. But this kind of adds more weight to he's not just a big kid, that he's isolated because he's not from this place. He's not from Derry.
Yeah.
And
he's a child without a father. He's he's all the things that a teenage boy kind of need.
Yeah.
He does seem to not have it.
Yeah.
Because with the exception of Eddie,
yes,
I think all the other kids have got both parents. Oh, no, Beverly's only got her dad in this, but in the book she had her dad and her mum.
Yeah, that's right.
But
yeah.
in this adaptation, it's only the dad.
We only see the dad, that's right.
Yeah.
But he's an overbearing character himself, isn't he?
Well, yeah. But, Stephen King kind of writes it as it is, really. He wrote Beverly's, parents as the mum being a bit weak and not saying anything, or not kind of wanting to acknowledge that, the dad was not a good person. Whereas I think in the movie they've gone down the path of let's just make it a single father being overbearing on his daughter, only child.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember in this scene, so we're watching where Ben sees Pennywise for the first time. I remember this particular scene really freaking me out. I think I couldn't work out where he was and how he was balancing on the water. And,
Jesus.
Yeah, he is. This bit, I always remember this particular clip. I think actually from memory in the on TV, that was the bit they showed. Did you get it out here where they always when it went into an ad break, they'd show a little clip with a title sequence, and it would go into. I think that's what they showed in the UK. I think that's why it sticks. So, Anne, I can hear you're really contributing a lot at the moment.
Well, Greer won't point the microphone my way.
Well, it's because you're not saying anything.
Well, I was saying that you keep the microphone to you, so I'm back again.
You gave it to me.
Yeah, no, to hold so I can type.
Fight.
Oh my God, Pennywise has got to us too.
Yep.
All I'm thinking is how flat the lining is. Because it's so television, it looks like a TV movie. Yeah. You can,
So we're going to be introduced to Beverly Marsh's character now, Annette O'Toole. So are you going to wake up now, Ant?
oh, so that's Annette. Is that the girl we saw earlier?
Yes.
Check out the 80s earrings. And the hair. I still have that haircut that dude has.
You actually do still have that haircut.
I've not changed my haircut.
That is it. That is your hair. It's like you donated your hair to him.
Pretty much. I did steal the look off him. Because I wanted to be an 80s douchebag. Yuppie.
Yeah, like and then in the book, they really play up how much of a douchebag he is in this.
That's perfect.
No, no pun intended, but they pull the punches a bit. And for the TV, yeah. Have you had any word from Richard yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hi, Richard.
Hey, Richard. You're missing out.
He's missing out some good stuff.
Like with Annette O'Toole, like so she was as you said, Laura Lang from Superman 3.
Yes.
And I was looking.
Lana Lang, wasn't it?
Lana Lang.
Lana Lang.
And she was already kind of making waves with the remake of Cat People, which starred Natasha Kinski. She was in 48 Hours, and then
That's right. She's Jack's girlfriend.
yeah, that's it. And then and as we said, played Laura Lane in which was Clark Kent's old flame in Superman 3, or the Superman movie that you shouldn't really talk about.
These Asian guys are very inscrutable.
The Superman movie where he goes back to Smallville.
Yeah. And fights himself.
We all fight ourselves in different ways.
What, Superman 3 was the one with the man from U.N.C.L.E., yeah?
Yes.
Yes. And Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor,
Yeah. So, like, but interestingly, Annette O'Toole would actually go back to Superman with the Smallville series, playing Martha Kent, his mum.
Didn't Helen Slater's now...
He's now the mum.
Is the mum in
Supergirl.
in Supergirl, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How come she's not having a flashback?
She is. Give it a sec. Far out, man.
So impatient. Oh, champagne, a man after my own heart. I'm drinking it from the bottle.
I actually thought, I bet you this is what Greer does at 2 in the morning.
Totally.
Awesome. Now, yeah, so this scene that happens here, they kind of really gloss over it, but it's brutal as fuck in the book.
What does she do?
Like it's a full-on fist fight that occurs because he's like this overbearing kind of control freak,
Domestic violence is bad.
and he just lays into her, but then she starts pulling her own punches back, and glasses him at one point, isn't she, or something like?
No, she throws a jar of like cream or something at him, and it smashes. And yes, yeah.
But it's quite brutal in the book. It's like it's a full-on, like you kind of really feel that journey.
Well, oh, hello, it gets a bit kinky here, does it?
No, it's not meant. It's not kinky.
There's some trouble. Some very bad
We all know what Ant likes doing in his pastime.
You get into bed.
No.
Then maybe you can leave this house in truth.
Yeah, here we go. Take it. Ugh.
Oh, he's down.
But like he's like in the book, he's bleeding. Like
But then in the book, her legs are like her feet are bleeding, and she's walking on glass, and she leaves the house with no shoes, and like runs to her friend's place.
Yeah, I can see what you say about it's being pulled back.
Yeah, it's definitely been pulled back. But again, it comes down to, I guess, time. And did we see enough for it to be a critical part of the story? Yes. Because it's important. It's important character development.
You're right. I guess I just wish, like, I'm so in love with the book. I just really want to see that explored and allow the richness of the book to come forward in the series.
Yeah, I can understand.
I get. I'm being too critical, aren't I? Agree. That's what you're saying.
Basically.
It's Ben. He's watching her. So Ben has a crush on Beverly.
That much I get.
Your hair is winter fire. Something, something.
Something.
Oh, he didn't bother finishing the poem.
This guy's really good.
There you go. This is where we see the dad for the first time. I kind of like the fact that he's this wiry kind of looking guy. You know, it breaks the stereotype of being like a big guy. I worry about you. I worry about you a lot.
Yeah, again, this was quite a bit more of a brutal scene in the book as well.
Yeah.
It's very Forrest Gump, isn't it? Like, you know, these kids not coming from happy backgrounds.
But like the others, like
You know,
Well, no, the
but
others
what's
are-
her name? What's the girl?
Beverly.
Jenny.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny, yeah.
I may not be a smart man, Jenny, but I know what love is.
I don't know that they all come from a sad background though. Like, I mean, you don't hear enough about Stan or or Richie's family or anything. I think it's more the fact that they're isolated from their peers for whatever reason. And now 3 becomes 4.
Yay. I like you. It's about to fast come 6 though, isn't it? Because Richie and Stan come in on the scene.
Yeah. Remember in the book as well, like Bill is described as being like, you know, like big and tall and like old for his age, but Jonathan Brandis just looks as young as the rest of them.
Which is why I think the casting works for the new one. Have you seen the guy that plays Bill, the young Bill?
That's not the kid from Stranger Things, is it? No. Who does he play?
He plays Eddie, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Don't call me Eddie Spaghetti.
Because I think so. Because the guy that plays Bill, he's like, he looks tall.
Yeah.
Tall and lanky. So Seth before this was already kind of in a lot of like kids kind of comedy things, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Like he had already carved his name as a bit of a child actor, yeah.
He made the transition really well. Because he appeared on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And Buffy being one of many things he did, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I criminally haven't really watched a lot of Buffy.
Yeah, that's my Godfather moment to you.
I have watched it, don't get me wrong.
But Paul doesn't like Community.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't like
What the fuck?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch the end?
Of Community?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about that later. That can be another podcast. I do love that there's little moments of levity in this as well. It's not all dark and disturbing, you know, like a nice jaunty 50s song and building a dam and everything.
Well, Stephen King was always very good at that as well in his books. There's always like a lot of music and song references. Yeah. And this really captures... I mean, Stand By Me is a great example of that too. The only time I think we hear him say that in this film.
Until the end.
Yes.
But what's the other Stephen King book about the alien? And there's a mind palace, and some guy. It's 4 boys, and one of them. That's right. And one of the 5th boy is an alien, and he gave them powers, and it's got
The Dreamcatcher?
Dreamcatcher. Yeah. Same concept, you know. He loves these childhood.
Yeah, I
movies.
was thinking that too. He does.
Yeah.
He's very good at writing that. Then the Dreamcatcher had the Damian Lewis in it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and the dude from My Name Is Earl.
Jason Lee.
Yeah, Jason Lee. Yeah,
All right.
he's the one that keeps chewing on a toothpick. And
Hey, so the film, was it The Watch or something like that, that had Richard Ayoade and was Simon Pegg as well? Or
oh, okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, okay, this is a great scene.
This is a great scene.
Where this is where Pennywise is talking to Beverly from the drain of the sink. And this is another bit where it highlight that the adults can't see what the kids can see.
What is it you think you saw? Hey, girl. About you, baby. I worry a lot. Now explain yourself.
There was a spider. A big fat spider. It crawled out of the drain, and it just crawled back down again.
Yeah, these buildings are old. Drains the size of the hall in
Emily Perkins is great.
there now.
I'm a big fan of hers.
Is that the girl?
Yeah.
What's she done?
As I said, she was in that Ginger
she does
Snaps.
look particularly terrified in this scene.
She does it. She does do it really well in Ginger Snaps too. And like she was in, like, so Ginger Snaps was ended up being a trilogy, and she was in all three of them. But she was also had minor roles in Insomnia and Juno. And more recently, she had a regular role in the TV series Hiccups, which kind of brought her back into the scene again. I think she's cool. Here we get your transition again, Ant.
Oh, not quite as good, that one.
No, that was a snap cut.
Richard's here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. We are joined by a fourth.
So just like there is a fourth member of the Losers Club in the film, there is now a fourth member of the Not Losers Club.
Surgeons of Horror.
Does that make me Beverly, or is it?
No, the moment you're ready.
Oh, is it? So it's gender specific. So it,
No.
Hey, there we go.
No.
I am not Beverly.
I can't remember.
It doesn't have to be bent.
Besides Bill.
And this is also quite interesting too, because in the film, Eddie is married to a rather large, domineering woman, but in this, he's still
Mum, yeah, I found that a really interesting choice. Just save on actors or that's it.
It feels as if it's just been filmed by two completely different directors, like the adult sequences and the kids sequences.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's probably not bad, but it isn't. It is shot by the
Yeah.
same director, or he's the one calling the shots. Yeah, but to go back to what Greer was saying, it's an interesting moment, isn't it, where they choose not to bring his wife into the equation, and that he is this kind of stay-at-home. I mean, I guess in the book she is that. His mum is that kind of really overprotective.
Well, yeah, he's married his mum, just like Beverly's married her
So
dad.
it's an easy way to just merge the two characters into one, without really having too much impact on the story.
I always imagine these sort of sequences when these characters are just come in. Suddenly he's driving the car, he just disappears, and he's then caught in this car that's just driving down the road. Just to make the scene a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Watching as a 12-year-old is slightly different though now.
Yeah. That's the thing. So when did you first?
I
watch
grew
this?
up on this. I like Tim Curry was huge
Yeah.
in my family, so Rocky Horror Picture Show and all
Yes,
that. And then
yes.
seeing this was just, he's amazing.
Yes.
But terrifying aspects more about what you would think about it, because I never read the books. My sister read the book and
Okay.
told me certain shocking elements of it.
Yeah.
But the idea of it being fear itself was far more
Yeah.
terrifying for me when I closed my eyes and went away from it than
Yeah.
actually seeing, all these personifications. The reference for the Wolfman actually is one of the biggest problems that they're having. The mummy, isn't it? The Wolfman.
yeah.
Because it's from a particular film.
It was from a particular film, yeah.
This is I was a teenage werewolf.
That's it.
It's not the sort of thing you're really going to go see at the cinema now, is it?
But it could be your Annabelle creation sort of equivalent.
So this is the thing where I think there's a big misstep in the TV series, is that it has to take on a physical form in order to feast. And it doesn't really get explored in this until the climax, which we're not going to talk about just yet. And this is one instance of it as well. Like the werewolf is a lot more prominent in the book too, because it's Eddie's vision of his fear. Or not Eddie, sorry, Richie's.
It's Richie's, yeah.
That's right. That's Seth Green, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Richard, this is your first podcast with the Surgeons of Horror team.
Yeah.
You say a proper welcome and
Yeah.
thanks for coming on board.
Oh, thank you for having me, and for the quick initiation stab in the side. It was good. We'll all float by the end of this, I'm sure.
We all float down here.
Yes, Georgie. This actually sequence when I was a kid was one of the most terrifying because I grew up in an area that had the bush and the marshes.
Yeah.
So I would go out bushwalking and I would imagine seeing just someone standing in the middle of somewhere you couldn't go. And that was terrifying. These images, it was much more about that than...
Yes.
Yeah.
So how old would you have been, Richard, when you first saw it?
I feel like I was probably around 7 or 10.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure it was Rocky Horror was when I was about 6.
Yeah. For a minute, I thought Stan had the Thundercats emblem on his scout uniform. Then that was funny. I found this particular bit. Like when Ben sees Pennywise for the first time on that same
As his father?
Yeah, that really stuck with me. Like I really
The buttons
remembered
changing.
Yeah.
It was slowly decaying into that. It was
Yeah.
And that, as in comparison from the recent film, is this what we've seen, to the older version of Pennywise?
Yeah.
There's no grotesque.
No.
And I like that about the idea of it's actually he looks like someone that the kids would approach.
Yes, that's right.
Eddie.
We're going to talk about Tim because we haven't actually spoken about Tim as far as his credits is concerned. So
Just throwing in a bit of Eddie Murphy's roar in there.
why not? Why not? This is what this film's lacking, a bit of Eddie Murphy. Tim Curry and I put a deliberate pun in here that he thrust onto our screens playing Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that was really what launched him. And then, and another iconic role that he played for me was as Wadsworth in the film Clue, which was based on the popular board game Cluedo.
Actually, it was based on a popular game called Clue. The game was called Clue. Australian version and international versions were called Cluedo.
Oh, really?
The American version is called Clue.
I never realised that.
Yeah.
We call it Cluedo.
Well, we called it Cluedo in the UK too, and the English invented the language, so
Yeah, you're right.
therefore it's Cluedo.
Just to mention another terrifying sequence. This, I think, for most of me and my friends, out of the whole film, this is the most iconic moment that everyone just goes,
Really?
yeah.
This is what scared the absolute shit out of my sister. Yeah. She was like 5.
I think
I
it's...
found this really disappointing.
Yeah.
I was just
It's because the kids need to be hotter. But I think this is the other thing. Physical props animating themselves scares me.
Okay.
Supernatural, natural things acting supernatural, asking questions that we can't answer in a logical way straight away makes me go, this would terrify me if that happened to me.
I think I'm at a point now where I've seen this so many times that I'm actually quite immune to it. Like, it doesn't actually give me the scares anymore. I'm really, like, I can't wait for the 7th of September because I'm, like, I really want to see what they've done differently that will,
I can't wait. I'm so like, even like the trailer and what's coming out so far. I'm just loving every ounce of what we're seeing so far. This is kind of good.
Claymation, gotta love it.
I love claymation.
Yeah. Apparently that's his real hair.
Red hair.
Apparently.
Really?
Yeah, that's what, when I was
Wow.
researching it, they said it's his real hair.
I never realised that.
I haven't found a shot of him with it not red.
Yeah. But he's got quite bushy hair in Rocky.
Yeah.
That's so cool, that.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
That's, freaky as fuck. Love it. Love it.
Very good imagery.
So we were saying about Tim Curry. He was in. He played the character of Darkness in Legend, which was the Tom Cruise, Ridley Scott.
The demon with the...
Yeah. Another great kind of makeup look for him as well for that. He played, and this one's for you, Ant. He played Dr. Petrov in The Hunt for the Red October.
Oh, yeah.
And that was all of those roles he did before taking on Pennywise.
Yes, he did take him. Yeah.
And then, as we said, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. He was in the Three Musketeers as Cardinal Richelieu.
I loved him in The Three Musketeers.
He was in the film Congo, and I have a story about that. One of the worst dates I've ever been on was to go and see Congo.
I love that film.
You love that film? It's shit.
It's a great film.
His Russian accent.
It's a great film.
I worked in a hotel, and we used to get VHS tapes that we'd put on the in-house movies, and everyone had the same movies, on a 3-hour kind of thing. But when the movies weren't on, we could take them home and watch them if we wanted to.
Was Pauline Hanson hosting that show? Sorry, it just it looked terrifying. Like it. Sorry to interrupt.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Burger.
Dated.
Mullet.
Mullet.
So Congo was one of those videos that I took home and watched over and over again.
It's a great film.
It's not a great film.
It's shit.
It is. It's awful.
The only
but
thing
this
that's
is
good
too.
about it is Bruce Campbell.
So
Wait,
he's
where's
the
Bruce
lucky-
Campbell in
he's
Congo?
the comedian, isn't
He's there at the beginning. He's the Laura Linney's husband or
Oh, I gotta
love
watch it again
interest
now.
that he goes and she goes to kind of
As long as he says
help.
groovy.
Beep, beep, Richie.
Beep
Yeah.
beep. So just to round out Tim Curry's other ones, in Muppet Treasure Island, you've got to mention that one. He played the character of Gull in Earth 2. And interestingly, he would play another scary clown in 2013, this time by going the name of Ginger Clown from the movie of the same name.
It's kind of weird how these plants are just sitting in his house.
Well, it's Beverly Hills, California.
How did you know that?
It was their actions that were sensitive.
Yeah, good
But
tell.
Tim Curry's a very he released records when he came out as Rocky Horror. That was one of his big musical things. Then he was pretty much the voice actor of all voice actors.
Yeah, he's
Every
been in so
cartoon. He was
many,
Hexus
Disney
from
stuff.
Fern Gully, which was
Yes.
based in Melbourne, a city in
Yeah.
Melbourne.
It was a big Australian film, that one, wasn't it?
Well, it was an American production, though, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
they just set it in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. But what I meant is that it was big in Australia.
Yeah.
Shane Warne comes from Fern Gully, just saying.
Oh, does he?
Hey, there's Seth and the Werewolf. That's a great
It's
name
with,
for a
like-
movie, Seth and the Werewolf.
Seth and I was a very. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Demille. Did you see the eyes pulled back on that? wolf?
Yeah. So the older Richie's played by Harry Anderson, but he never really did
Night
much
Court.
Night Court.
other than Night Court, and he was known for in the early kind of Saturday Night Live stuff. Would often get called in as the like the guest filler on American chat shows,
Oh yeah.
and to kind of have Johnny Carson and people like that to bounce
filler.
off, and yeah.
What's it? Jimmy Kimmel has that guy at the moment, doesn't he? Someone like that.
Yeah.
Matt Damon. That's it.
Matt Damon. Never heard
I'm
of
just also on Tim Curry as well. He recently
Go on.
suffered a stroke.
Yeah, I
Which
know.
is and he was Spamalot.
brilliant.
He was in the lead in Spamalot when that was going on in America when they debuted that.
Right.
So that was his sort of. He was coming back into it, and then he had the
okay.
stroke. So last I
Damn.
heard, he was being the criminologist or one of the narrators in a stage version of Rocky Horror.
Okay.
So he's still working.
Okay. Because he is wheelchair bound now, isn't
Yeah.
he? So,
And he seems quite like it's. I think affected half of his body or something.
yeah.
Just kudos to
That's
he's
so
still
sad.
working on. I know, isn't it?
It must be too, because like he was really, particularly early on in his career, he's really was renowned for his physical attributes.
yeah,
Like he was a
exactly.
really
Oh, he was attractive as well. I mean,
Yeah.
God, But also,
you think he was
trained in dance.
Well,
Do you
was it? I
think
don't know. Yeah.
The pause button.
Tim Curry?
Okay. Well, the sexy, I'll say then. Maybe not attractive, as in would I date the face or would I want the body? But like, as in you look at the all over package, and then also in his versatility,
Oh no, I
specifically.
love his versatility,
in
and I
the
think
shadow.
he's got a very expressive face.
Oh yeah, we didn't
and-
mention
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah.
shadow.
The Shadow with Alec Baldwin,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was one of the bad guys that you're a fool, Claymore, and he just it's just great. His commitment to those sort of roles. I think it was the power, his confidence and power. That's really it.
Yeah.
Oh, an Irish cop. Oh, that's right. We're in the 50s. That makes sense.
Yes. He's not how I pictured him from the book.
The cop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a very different image of him. Ant's working. You can hear him tapping away.
Ants writing blurbs.
He is.
He's just writing hate comments for the podcast.
He is.
Please do.
He's trolling us.
That Paul Fowler's such a tit. The
Oh, Henry Bowers.
Henry.
Look at that! Look at that little curl at the front of his
curl,
head.
like Clark Kent.
It's so The Outsiders, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Lost Boys.
Oh, Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Like the work he goes into that hair.
Yeah.
And then he hassles people for doing anything. It's great.
And that is the cigarette smoking man from the X
It is
Files.
the cigarette man from the X-Files, Barberman.
He's working with Pennywise.
He is. He's in cahoots, I tell you.
He looks exactly the same.
Not quite as scary in this as he was in the X-Men.
No.
Sorry, X-Files.
In the
X-Men.
X-Men.
Too many X's.
There is. Yeah, so this is kind of Seth Green's big moment, isn't it?
He wasn't in anything before this.
No, he did a lot of like kind of kids. Like we were saying, it was like a lot of kind of kids shows and things. So he kind of did a lot of
that
kind
sort
of
of stuff.
groundwork in the, kind of that area, which is why he, by this point he was a reliable kids actor to bring in.
Yeah. He seems like one of the most onto it.
Yeah.
Offering so much.
Yep.
That's why I think it's, the director didn't... Who did direct this?
So yeah, that's good question. It was Tommy Lee Wallace.
Well, that explains something.
He's Tommy Lee Jones's brother. I've got it.
So okay, we're losing one of our losers.
Yeah, I get to keep the microphone for myself.
Yay! So let's. I do want to talk about Tommy Lee Wallace, who directed this, because he directed 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone. Like The Twilight Zone in those days was like lots of little segments, and so he did an individual segment. There's your kind of really shitty werewolf character dude.
But also, he's wearing a tool belt. So my question is, if this is personification from Pennywise, why the fuck is it working underneath the school? Like, why is it actually doing a job?
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
The werewolf in the movie didn't have a tool belt on, or did it? I don't think it did.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Float.
And there's that the
Those
teeth shot that
teeth.
they like doing again. And Tommy Lee Wallace also did an episode of Tour of Duty, and he was but more importantly, he had, as I said, a
Twilight Zone director. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was really closely associated with John Carpenter, and that's kind of how he made his work essentially.
Cool.
So he started off as the associate art director on John Carpenter's first debut film, Dark Star. And it was a collaboration, as I said, that would see him working with Carpenter throughout. That included Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog, and Big Trouble in Little China. He would also work on Halloween, including donning the notorious Michael Myers mask.
Yeah.
Even though it was uncredited.
So he, from an art direction sort of point of view, he seems really strong, which makes a sense why a lot of these iconic images are strong, but not the scenes.
Yes.
Or the flow of structure and sequence.
Yes. This
That's
is
really cool.
Mike Hanlon in the library, if anyone's still listening and following on with the film side of things.
Mike Hanlon sits down, he picks up a photo, stares at it, remembers his childhood, those lovely days. Then reminisces by writing down a swear word, something profane, something unlike he was thinking, and then follows it up with fecal matter in his trousers.
Love it.
I find the Mike thing quite interesting because in the book, Mike's one of the narrator and he's probably the strongest narrator of the whole lot. Like, definitely because his memory is all there, but he doesn't really meet the group for such a long time. Like, it's 3/4 of the book before he becomes a member of the Losers Club. And I did find that I didn't feel like Mike, for the narrator, Mike gets enough screen time in this.
He doesn't, or he does?
I don't think he does.
No, I agree. There's not enough backstory to his character as a child in this either.
Whereas he did have quite an interesting story.
He did.
Yeah.
And for me, there's an incident with his character where he encounters it, at the old ironworks,
Yes.
where
I know which
it
one you're
takes on
talking-
the form of a
of
giant bird,
Yeah.
and that freaked the fuck out of me in the book.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that for me,
But they didn't do it in this.
they didn't do it in this, and for me, it solidifies the climax of the movie because we see it as a giant creature,
Yeah.
and that kind of made sense because
Yeah.
that journey carries on through. But because we don't see any of that, when we get to the climax, it's underwhelming.
But I think as well with Mike, like Mike's obviously he's the historian in the group. He's the one who stays in town. He's the one who remembers. But also there's a lot of interesting, like the discussions with his father and everything about the history of Derry. It is actually kind of a big part of what sets up how this happens every 27 years. And I do feel like that has been left out a lot.
Yeah.
it's
That's
been
right.
lost.
Because
agree.
his grandfather worked at the iron mills, and they had a problem with the not lepers or the burning zombies or something, wasn't it?
There was no
An incident that his grandfather
So
remembers?
it was his grandfather. It was the start of like the 1930 incident.
That's right, in the
And-
book, yeah, 'cause it's shifted the
they
time
had
from you.
he was like in the military, and they didn't want the black soldiers associating with the white soldiers, so they gave them a building that they could set up as their own kind of clubhouse, and so they did it, and then it became very popular amongst the locals, and they had bands playing, and they had people coming in drinking and whatnot, and then the first incident that triggers it, or was it the one that ended it? I can't remember now. Oh, geez, it's only been 3 weeks. And basically the building burns down and a lot of people die in the building, and that was kind of the big sacrifice of people that it needed to.
Oh, to feed so
Yeah.
it could sleep. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, it's an interesting history because like that was a story that had been told to him as a young child, and and when he starts digging deeper into it, that's how they established that this has been every 27 years this thing happens.
Yeah.
That's one of the things from all Stephen King stories that have a history about the location.
Yeah, yeah.
They never in films take that time. Shining, they glossed
They
over
don't,
it.
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah,
And there's so much within that. Like this only has a glimpse at a couple of photos that move. But it's such an integral part of what
Agreed.
seems to be Stephen
Yeah.
King's stories.
Yeah, yeah. He really is able to capture the location. It's almost
The
a character
world.
in itself,
Yeah.
This is just on this film clip we're seeing right now. This is the first moment where all 7 members of the Losers Club unite,
Oh, cool.
and they kind of team up against Henry Bowers.
Stan sits looking like a boss.
Yeah. And while we're just looking at this bit as well, I'll just finish off just talking about Tommy Lee Wallace for a second. So he was the guy that directed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the only Halloween film from the franchise that doesn't feature Michael Myers. And it's kind of a bit of a standalone film. It's really not a Halloween film in that respect. But he also directed The Boy Who Could Fly, Fright Night Part 2.
Friday Part 2? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so all of that before landing this
this.
gig. And then he would go on to direct later on, like he would go on to direct the sequel to John Carpenter's Vampires movie, which was called Vampires Los Muertos, which starred a certain John Bon Jovi in the lead.
The Jovi.
And it's a really shit film.
See, again, I'm probably jumping ahead of this, but this is like another interesting thing. Like the Henry Bowers crew, as Henry's like sanity slowly diminishes, as do the others. But there's that whole scene with
Patrick.
yes,
Yeah.
that yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I'm really hoping the new film keeps that because it's such a strong moment in the book.
Yeah.
Like, and it really, as you said, it's the turning point of Henry's.
Sanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that this doesn't get, I mean, it's a bit hard to do because it slips into R-rated territory.
Yeah.
But it's. I still think, and it's sexual awakening again. There's a
And
lot
that's
of
it's like
kind
this,
of-
burgeoning sexuality of
Yeah,
like teenagers or almost teens.
That's it.
That I could understand, like back in the 80s when we were all a little bit pure,
Yeah.
puritanical and, didn't want to do it.
But also being a telly movie too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Kind of restricted.
But it's a shame that, like, from that point of view of maybe not everyone would watch it, but what could it be
Yeah.
if it had all of that in it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, it might be a requiem for a dream, something that you don't want to watch, but you watch it and you go, oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah. My wife hates that film,
Yeah.
but I love it. Just,
I've still never seen it.
it's a hard watch.
Yeah.
It is a hard watch.
But it's just so done well. Oh.
Like even the editing in it is amazing.
Yeah. And I watched the director's commentary stuff after it. Like, there's a lot of shots of the director sitting down reading the book with the actors, and it's just brilliant. You're just going,
Yeah.
Can I just say that is what's lost now? Now that we don't buy DVDs anymore, we are losing those features like director's commentaries, and they are quite fascinating.
Or
some
are
of
we
them.
getting more of them because of YouTube?
Yeah.
Like, I'm seeing, like, again, for it, like, so many people reviewed this that, like, the new stuff and all this information that's so there's so much out there now that people are just offering it and can research it.
Yeah, it's great. There's actually a Facebook group which is designated to it and the book and everything that comes with it. It's really quite interesting. But this is the bit where they've all kind of experienced the. There's lots of. This is Mike Hanlon's book that he brings along, which was
with the
his
history of
father's.
dairy.
Yeah, exactly. And this is again a great moment in the book. And it's actually done all right here, I think.
I think it's been done quite well, actually.
Yeah.
I love it too how he does all those things.
Yeah,
It's just like, he's
some
agile
sorts.
as all hell.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Singing in the Rain thing, I think.
It is. That's pretty
And that
fucking
sound.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they fade up to colour. Does he put his hand out in this bit?
Yeah.
Because I remember he does it in the book. I just can't remember if he...
Dream come true on everything ever were afraid of.
Yeah, that's great. That's actually a really good shot.
Yeah.
But the way he moves his mouth as well, like it's.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Sarsgaard's going to do it because, I don't know. From what I've seen, it looks so nothing. I don't know. It seems held too much
Restrained.
in the.
Yeah.
He's something we can't understand. He's a god, or he's something that we can't fathom. So he's just creepy.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
he
His
knows
voice is
enough to
very
know
different.
that he needs to be a clown to lure kids in.
Yeah.
So he knows enough to go, "Hello, little boy, come with me."
Yeah.
You know.
He's not my favourite Skarsgård. I'm just throwing it out there.
This is the first thing I've seen him in. I don't know what he's been from.
It's interesting. He's a tall guy, though.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. I
Yeah, but
saw a still
have
shot.
you seen his brother? Even only the dad looks like he's a short. Like they
Right.
all look like they're like friggin' Vikings.
It's Stellan, isn't it? It's the dad.
Stellan Skarsgård is the
And
dad.
you're referring to a certain guy that played Eric, as
Eric
in the one
Biltman
that
in
you're.
True Blood.
Yeah.
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 Being shown currently on Foxtel, so I can watch it during the day because I'm not working. Yeah.
They're showing it again.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you see that
think it's
thing
on
on the
binge
the Sky News thing where somebody there was like a new not Sky News, it was is that the British one? Yeah, it is, isn't it? The paid satellite Sky News one, and it's a news report at the desk, and in the background they have all these monitors on. There's somebody watching True Blood, and it happens to be a bit where Anna Paquin's removing her clothes
Oh God!
and full boobage.
They would have gotten in heaps of trouble.
And like so much people coming back at it, but then somebody found out that it was Anna Paquin, even though it's a really short clip.
Yeah.
And like
I
in
know
the
that
distance.
areola anywhere.
And it came up like, and Anna
I've seen those tits before.
exactly.
That's it.
And Anna Paquin kind of apparently found out about it because it cropped up on one of those kind of celebrity kind of skin kind of, I don't know, those webs. I say I'm looking at you. There's those websites that kind of list every kind of nudie shot.
Oh
That
yes, yeah, like
everybody's
celebrity
ever done.
nudes
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Those kind of things, and
This
it
is
kind
that
of
orgy
came up.
scene.
And Annie, and Anna Paquin kind of picked up on it, found out about it somehow, and then she tweeted about it, going, "This is so funny," blah 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 blah. And even who's she married to? Stephen, what's his name from True Blood?
The guy played by Bill.
Bill, yeah, he
Bill.
even got in on it too, going, that was one of the best things I've seen on TV." It's like, yeah, really cool.
I think that's fantastic. Well, especially even with that R rating comparison. You mean you got
Yeah,
Westworld, you've got all these things, but when you add children to it, I completely understand where it gets so blurry.
That's it. Yeah, it gets kind of hard.
Even like Stranger Things, I think sometimes has that potential to push the lines.
Yes.
Atlanta, Georgia.
So we're coming up to the final character now that we've been introduced to for
And
our
Mork and Mindy. Oh no, sorry, it's Perfect Strangers.
Strangers. I
Sorry.
used to love that
Oh,
show.
I thought it was Mork and Mindy. No, Perfect Strangers.
So this is Stan, played by Richard Mesa, who people might know as Clark from The Thing. And it's a shame that Ant's not here and he's ducked out because he loves The Thing.
I just want to call out, just in
Go
a
on.
preemption to the end of this scene, this
Yes.
actress is just, her performance, I mean...
When she sees
Yeah.
the bathtub. Yeah, it's great. Special.
That's just
special.
one viewer's look out for that.
Yeah.
Scene you haven't seen it.
See, I have I prefer him when the fridge scene, but you know.
Well, if anything, the book was missing
yeah.
this reaction.
Yeah.
True.
Yes,
true.
it was. He so Richard Mesa was also in Heaven's Gate. He played Rutherford in Risky Business. He also cropped up in both My Girl and My Girl 2.
Yes.
That's where I remember him, yeah.
More recently, he's been in Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
But also a little bit of kind of a thing about him is that he served 2 terms of president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Really?
Yeah.
President?
Yeah.
That's funny. Actually, I remember him from, I can't remember whether it was Boogity, a telly movie that he was starring in.
yeah.
And it was about a pilgrim who had passed away in America somewhere, and at Thanksgiving time, his ghost came out and was like a Mr. Boogity. And he would scare them, and it possessed him at one point, I think in the second movie. You know, that's where I just had a flashback then. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, that's what, yeah. Because I saw him in this when I was a kid, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm really excited he's in it. And then what happens, and it's sort of like, oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. It feels like, because he is a solid actor, actually.
Yeah, he's a
Even
solid
just that
actor.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I first watched this, he was the one that I recognised the most because he'd been in a lot of, stuff that I'd seen.
Yeah, same.
And I think too that idea of the motif, this vulnerable character too, for me as a kid, played into that as well, saying, "Oh, I really feel for this person," and for seeing that reaction out of all of the adult actors, actually,
Yeah.
why did they kill him off? He just had one of the best reactions.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm sorry. You read the book, you know.
Stan was the last one to really believe and didn't really want to believe. But then Stan was also the one who bound them together. So, yeah.
So she's shooting a...
the best shot.
Oh, because I'm going to use her to kill the thing. I seem to remember. Is that right?
Silver bullets.
Hey, so Greer, what do you think about Beverly Marsh's character being basically the strong badass that she is in this, particularly at the time this came out? She's a very strong character. Like essentially,
Because
they
women in
rely
the
on
80s
her
didn't
to
do
be the
shit.
one to destroy Pennywise.
No, this is the 50s.
up,
Women in
yeah.
the 50s didn't do shit because they were chained to the kitchen. But, you're right. Out of all of the characters, she's the only one with balls.
So what do you think, Rick?
Sorry, I completely missed Paul's question.
I was just saying
Because people
about.
were talking over
that's
him.
right. I was just saying about how she's actually a really strong character, and she effectively is the one that destroys Pennywise.
Oh, that's it. I'm out. What the fuck, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Feminism
Spoiler alert.
represents.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's his
like-
interpretation of it.
I'm not looking at the ending.
Yes. No, we will discuss that when we
Honestly,
get to
like when I was even when I was rereading the book, I kind of was like, yeah, there is this kind of very strong female energy around her character.
Yeah, it's like she's quite is juxtaposition the right word? Like she's this at home. She's kind of battered and
Yeah.
but she really comes into her own in this group.
Yes.
So, yeah, that is quite. I don't know.
I'll put you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, it didn't necessarily, for me, seem like it was a strong female character. She was just a strong character.
Yeah,
Out of all
true.
of them, that's what I meant. It didn't male and female. That's why I think if they did have that scene with them being sexual, for me it would have really... it would lose me.
Yeah, that's right.
They look very wet.
Yes.
They look fucking soaked.
It's because they're in Derry.
She didn't inhale.
No.
whatever you do, kids, don't inhale.
But
Go on, Stan.
Is
Have a
there
puff.
anything in that? In the books? Isn't
No,
that
it's
empty?
it's just literal water with some.
That's
Yeah.
that's right. So it's a placebo for him, but does he know that?
He doesn't
Not
at
at
this
this
point.
stage.
Cool.
But it's his mum. His mum's hypochondriac, basically. You know, bit of Munchausen going on there.
Yes, yeah. By proxy.
Fucking hate that.
Oh, but the Baron Munchausen, amazing.
film.
Oh, film, the original character. Oh, the actual guy.
Terry
Oh.
Gilliam. I love this bit.
The camera.
I love this bit. It's great.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Flying High. It's like. It was then that I discovered my drinking problem.
Yeah.
We have to get them to a hospital. What is
is
it?
it?
It's a big place with all these.
People go to when they're sick, but that's not important right now.
But that's not important right now.
That was Ant putting down his glass.
Yeah, nice. And even like, I mean, they do really play on the whole kind of Stan bit in this, but
You Stan you? Where's he from? I haven't noticed.
he's the one on the left.
Okay, so
Where did he come from?
He was the one wearing the Scouts uniform earlier.
Oh, he grew up.
he's the one. Oh yeah, he's Richard Missour. Yeah.
This is his story from his point
It's
of view.
interesting because I always saw Stan as being kind of the weakest character.
Yeah. But that's the point, isn't it?
Especially when you have the inhaler kid, which is sort of set up. All the information is to be
Yeah.
this character.
In the book as well, or are you
I
just talking about this?
No, I think in this it Stan's definitely the weakest character. I think in
Yeah.
the
the book where he has to confront the mummified remains
Yeah.
of Pennywise in the building, and he has to. Oh, it's in the pool thing, isn't it? It's like where some kids drowned, and he gets locked in the building with it, and it starts coming down towards him. And the only way he gets out is by reciting birds' names, because he's a somebody that studies
ornithologist.
Ornithologist,
Thank
that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. And
Those
so
words
that's
with feeling, you've
his.
got to be careful.
And that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. And there's the thing, like, what essentially the way they are able to kind of confront Pennywise is to confront their own fears first. So, like for Stan, he has to go to his safety net, which is the bird stuff.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah.
clear my throat.
Because they're going up against something which is basically fear personified.
Exactly.
That's right.
They
Yeah.
have to use their creation to be able to create something larger and
Yeah.
more powerful than
That's
it.
right. And that's why.
So it's not necessarily even like the comfort works, but
Yes.
even him just going, I know this, I'm going to recite French.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the
Same as the sugar water.
I'm guessing this kid's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an alien moment here.
Oh yeah. You didn't like that scene.
The what was I going to say with that? This is right. Distracted by the lights.
It's the dead lights.
And dry ice and red party lights.
Oh, it's happening underneath it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the budget was for this.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll be on my notes. It's a party going on right here.
It's a cameraman.
It's a celebration. That's one down. Did you find that interesting as well? Like, considering like he in the book as well and in this, it's more obviously focused on in the book, where Pennywise is essentially trying to use Henry Bowers to do his job for him. So why then kill off one of Henry Bowers' crew? Do you know what I mean?
And this is what I didn't really understand. Is like,
Yeah.
why would he? He could have done it himself. Why could Pennywise not take the kids? Why is he using Henry for it?
I know. It's strange, isn't it?
It's a bit odd.
Anyway,
Stephen King, can you answer that question?
He was stoned, wasn't he?
I got the impression, though, it was because these kids are using what we will later come to as referred to as the ritual of Chud all the time. Because they've been put into a situation where they have to use their creativity and their imagination. They're the only ones that can go up against them, whereas the bullies have no imagination. They just, rape, pillage, and eat. Whereas these guys,
Used to rape.
are completely in a different world.
Yeah.
So that, therefore, there's this shield.
There's
It's an unspoken
That's
shield.
a protective barrier.
That's a good
Yeah,
theory.
I like that.
that could have been the turtle scene that I kind of went, what the? Yeah.
But that's it. Like in the book, because I read the passage in the book from Bill's perspective, and oh my god, that would have been that needs to be in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be in it. Also, Henry
Yeah.
Gower's friend's wearing a military jacket as well, like an old
Ah, yeah.
militaristic jacket.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not really getting Henry's descent into madness.
No,
here.
you don't. Not at all.
No, he just seems like a really nasty kid.
Yeah. I really like this scene.
I think this is great.
That just reminds me of Ghost.
Yeah.
I just want like Unchained Melody to play or something, and Whoopi Goldberg to come out and be sassy.
This is great.
Yeah, this. When you think of, like, well, watch a snake eat. I mean,
Yeah.
or the lifelessness in his fingers, that freaked me out.
I like, there's, I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but it's when the light comes back out again that you just go, oh, fuck, you're done.
But like a roller coaster too.
So this doesn't happen in the book.
No,
You rang.
Hello.
Hello, buddy boy. So, because you were saying that his descent into madness is a progressive thing throughout his storyline as a character.
Yeah.
Whereas this seems to really set it up as in once he's seen the deadlights, he's gone
Yeah.
insane.
And he's got...
Whereas
grey
the other
hair.
progression
yeah,
works so
well, no.
much
In the
better.
book, there's a lot of there's another kid in it who's not really in this.
Yeah.
That's
who
right.
was like killing animals and things like that and storing them in like a fridge, and then there's a sexual awakening moment of, let's just call it a
Oh, that's a homosexual thing at the beginning
yeah.
of the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to give it some kind of, like interesting, like intelligent name, but
We
you're
just
right.
said
It was
9-year-olds
just
were having an orgy
basically,
before.
yeah. Yeah, so literally that, and then from that moment on, once Henry, I think, kind of starts to realise that,
He's got, he's
then he
confused.
starts to get crazier and crazier and meaner and meaner.
Yeah.
That would be really good from a character
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah,
It's a
it
really
is.
interesting character,
It
yeah.
is. And it makes sense where Henry ends up, too, because he essentially ends up in the mental
Because
asylum.
don't forget, in the book as well, Henry kills his dad.
Yes, that's right.
He literally goes home and slits his dad's throat.
Jeez.
Ouch.
Yeah.
No.
Look, dry ice. I farted.
Where did that come from?
So the thing above them, that was the alien form, was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Is it supposed to be so terrifying that we can't make out what it is? So the closest we can come to is it sort of like a crab or a spider or some.
turtle.
No, that doesn't look like a turtle.
The turtle's the good thing.
Yeah, turtle said some.
But what if it wasn't?
What? They are one and the same?
The turtle isn't good. The turtle burped us up, our universe up, accidentally.
Yeah.
Isn't everything inherently good and inherently evil?
No, it's all subjectively good and evil.
They're in a 90s rave right now.
Douche, douche.
What was it? House on Haunted Hill? The Haunting. The Haunting.
The Haunting.
The scene when he's holding it.
original.
The original.
One? Yep.
I'm holding. Whose hand am I holding? That's flashback for this for me.
Ah, yes. It's a great film, that.
So much better than the remake.
Baby! Yeah, so this is where that's what I was referring to earlier, where they're facing their own individual demons. But because they have the power to stand up together.
Okay.
Here we
fair
go.
enough.
Sorry.
Back
How many of
massage.
them are there? 7?
7 of them, yeah. Stan and the birds. So when in the now infamous orgy scene that isn't in this, Stan recites the birds.
Does he?
So he doesn't come early.
Does he?
Basically,
Oh
yeah.
my god, that's awkward. Oh, that's awful. I don't want to see that scene anymore.
It's one way to get thrush.
Thank you, good night. On you, Robin.
See,
the
and
weak
Stan gets
character
taken
again.
away because he's the weakest.
Yeah. That's right.
Be afraid.
It's like Annabelle Creation.
Oh, tastes so much better when you're afraid.
Do you remember that?
I haven't seen it before.
Attack of the weakest character ant. Hello.
That laugh.
Sorry, what was that?
I was saying I was trying to get Ant's attention, but he's too
I
hooked on the
haven't seen this.
show. You said you had.
I'm riveted by the action.
Yeah, this is a great moment. He is the weakest one, and there goes the teeth again. And
Yeah.
This is battery acid, you slug.
I love that bit. I'm melting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love
What a
that.
great effect.
I love
Yeah.
that Pennywise is so scared that he actually believes that is battery acid as well.
But that's
Well, that's
it.
what-
That's the only reason
yeah.
he exists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Do it, Bev. Quick,
Same as the
before
other
he
reason.
gets flushed
Oh,
down
he
the
does the
toilet.
Jackie Chan move.
Yeah.
Oh,
Play back
what?
on.
I really hope the special effects are better in 2017.
Yeah.
And there you get like the clawed hand. Like there you go. That's
Cthulhu-y type,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What the fuck was that thing?
We gotta get out of here. We gotta go after it. No, it's dead. We have to be sure. It sounded like it was dying. What if it didn't?
Should have ate that curry.
I think it's dead.
I think it's dead. It is dead though, isn't
Well,
it?
it's
It's not coming
asleep.
back. There's no way it's coming back.
It's been mortally wounded.
Yeah, man.
It's the
done.
50s.
He's
Yeah.
having a nap. Well, a 27-year nap.
But even if you did kill it, I mean, it lives in your fears.
On that note, though, like so, in the book it's every 27 years, but in the film they mentioned 30 years. In this, they say 30 years.
But no, but in the book, it was kind of between 27 and 30 because I think it would start around
It
the 27 and then
fluctuates.
some of them, they would actually, like some of the years would actually like last for
Ah,
multiple years.
It depends on how much he's gorged.
Yeah.
So this is the bit where they have their kind of blood pact. In the book,
Slash
they
orgy.
yeah no.
Is
Not
this the moment
bit.
when
No,
they
no,
would,
no.
though?
No. This is just the bit where they kind of. Oh, so this is the bit where they're supposed to cut their
If it comes
hands,
back.
though, aren't they? Like, isn't it
Yeah,
Stan's
yeah.
idea to
It was Stan's idea in the book
cut
to cut their hair.
themselves?
Yeah.
And ironically, that's what he does to himself when he can't confront the fear again, and
Yeah.
so.
But also, don't forget, when they were kids, they couldn't get out. That's why they had
Yeah,
the
that's
orgy.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So we just missed the orgy.
We did.
Oh, man.
Did you see it?
It was a very quick orgy.
Yeah.
I feel it.
They are 11. So
Yeah, I remember all the birds' names. So
There's more than one of them.
All the birds' names.
Okay, I've got to throw this out there.
Yeah, go on.
And if he ever hears it, I'm really sorry because I have a lot of respect for you, Stephen King. But what the fuck? Seriously.
He even said that he doesn't remember writing that.
Yeah,
bit,
he
though.
does. Yeah, he's so
I don't know. That's a bit of an easy out, though, isn't it?
yeah,
To be
it's
honest.
a bit of a constant wake up.
I didn't write that.
He's got a
Marge, did you
ghostwriter.
write the book for me?
It's like Plinkett wrote it.
This is your favourite bit coming up now.
Oh yes.
The acting performance.
I
of
think-
I
the-
do love that the wife has brought him a beer to have in the tub. Like,
Yeah.
bless her. What a sweet soul she is. She doesn't deserve this.
Hey, is that interesting about the pom poms on the?
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Neither.
On the statue, there's like, and that's kind of very Pennywise. Oh, I liked that.
At the
all of a
entrance of
sudden,
Mm.
art direction again comes back to Tommy Lee's.
That's it. Well, this
visual.
year.
Yeah. There's a nice hairy chest.
Boogity.
It's very neat.
He is a very neat person, Stan.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
A lot of razor blades too.
Oh, yeah. He didn't do this shit by halves.
No.
You look at it, there's like 80 in there.
Oh shit! I keep missing.
So did Clark kill himself?
Yeah. And he writes something as well.
So specific.
What's that?
It says it.
He forgot the sh.
Oh, overact.
I know, this is Richard's
music
favourite
over
bit.
No!
And that is the end of the first part.
That's a hilarious menu picture as well.
know.
A balloon!
Oh my god, it's a balloon!
A balloon!
So we are going to just, for those that are listening on the podcast, we are going to stop there and end the first part of the, as is with the first part of the TV series.
Also
And we
known
will-
as the Losers Club.
The Losers Club. And we'll pick up again in the second part of our podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Dreams.
You're listening to the Surgeons of Horror podcast. Music supplied by Peter Nezik. For more discussions or podcasts, head over to surgeonsofhorror.com or head over to our Facebook and Twitter sites for the latest news and updates.